How you doing?
Good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Feeling good.
A smashing gig. Yeah.
Yeah, how was it?
Smashing. Yeah. Feels smashed, but it feels good to get all the energy out and get the crowd going.
The crowd was really into it.
Yeah. Was it intense?
Yes. Well, to me.
Yeah. Yeah. You try and you know, push off the intensity of thing like, oh, relax, it's relaxed. But as soon as you hit the stage, you know, it's goes.
Also try to see it as like every show, but Lowlands it's kind of a thing in Holland. So you really want to play a good show. You know, you really don't want to mess up or like technical stuff happening. Yeah. So I was a bit nervous, but
well, even if you try and deny the nerves, they still get, you know. So but you're on. It's electric.
Yeah.
So. Are you extra tense that it's Lowlands or?
Yeah, well, in a way, like, you know, there's a lot of people walking around, also people that like reviewing or whatever. You just want to play a good set on Lowlands since it's one of, you know, most famous, biggest festivals in Holland. So, yes, it's a bit different than others.
Back to the beginning. You're from New Zealand. You're from Holland. How did you guys met?
Well, I've got a Dutch father, and I moved back and forth between New Zealand and Holland after I finished school. And one of those years that I came to visit Amsterdam, I met Joost, who's the drummer, a brother of her, obviously, and we sort of hit it off musically, and we started playing together and jamming, and we formed a band.
We just saw you busking on the street.
Yeah, I was busking. It was my busking days, you know, my busking blues. And then I met them, and then we like the same music, and we've been together for 10 years in all sorts of different bands. And so I got stuck in Amsterdam, basically.
You just walked by, hear him play, and thought.
Yeah.
And where was it in Amsterdam? On which corner, maybe? You can remember?
Where was the first time? In the Pipe.
In the Pipe, yeah.
The Pipe, somewhere, Albert Kuip.
Yeah.
And can you remember the first time you played a jam together? How was it? Was the magic already
Well,
there?
the first time we actually also have a guitar teacher in common. So when we first I met with Joost, and we both played guitar as well, and we started jamming, and it was like an instant click where you just get this magic happening. And then we went into the studio with Cato. She was 16 at the time, you know. So and then we started recording and messing around in the studio, and it just seemed to make sense. So it's been sticking together ever since. Yeah.
Can you remember how it was to be 16 and already play in a band? Had you played in bands before?
Well, I was already actually playing in a band since I was 10, because we had like a family band. So I grew up in a musical family. Well, my brother and me, so the drummer, and we had 2 more sisters and our dad, and we just played all together. So yeah, I don't know any different actually. I've been playing on stage since I was 10. So 16, it was just, I felt very more mature, but I wasn't, but you know, we just started like a sort of soul kind of band then when I was around 16 and when Daniel joined us. And ever since, yeah, we've been playing lots and lots together, and now 3 years ago or so we started My Baby, and just as a 3-piece, and it's been working really well.
Did the band evolve the last 2 years from theme-wise, or?
Well, yeah. Well, it's a lot around the live experience with us. So we actually started making a record, which is quite weird. But we just started
out in the studio.
Yeah. So obviously it changed a lot when we started playing that same album live, and we started to jam a lot. And actually what we just found out that we just wanted to make people dance and get that energy. So you start playing more and more dancey style, and now we just play like, well, just what we did now is like a full 50 minutes sort of dance up-tempo set actually.
And does it build it up towards the climax on a show? Or?
Yeah, well, in every song sometimes we have sort of build-ups and breakdowns, sometimes just like DJs do that as well.
Well, and it's not that different from any other band that obviously is going to try and build up in their set. But I suppose the dance influence sort of came to us because you end up playing on festivals or gigs where you've got to compete with DJs, and they've got this smashing beat pumping out, and I suppose you try to replicate that to try and draw the crowd from them, you know. So it's a little bit of a healthy competition there.
And what do you prefer, working in the studio or perform live at a big audience?
Perform live, definitely.
In the end, you want to connect with people, and in the studio, it's a creative process which can be very rewarding, but the end result is getting your music to the people and then playing live for them, so that's obviously the end goal.
The first album was My Baby Loves Voodoo.
Yep.
It ended up very well. You get a world tour, if I'm correct, afterwards. How was it to come back after, I don't know, a year or touring, to come back in Amsterdam?
Well, we've been touring on and off that year, but we had a sort of world tour going to Asia, New Zealand, America. And then being back, you know, of course, you're out of the country, so you sort of have to show yourself again, like, hey, you know, we're back and back here to perform. And I think we did another one this year, and after that one, since we came back, we dropped the second album, and we sort of had to show, like, okay, we're back and we're gonna do an album release, and it took a little while for people to notice us again, like, oh, yeah, okay, My Baby. But then after that, the drop of the second album, it's been going very, very, very well.
It took people by surprise at first. We were gone, and then we came with an album straight away, and a lot of people thought, oh, when did you record that? But once people started, you know, accept, oh, they're really there with a new album, and then it just went off from there.
Was it hard to write the second album?
They always say it's hard to write a second album.
It was hard to start writing.
Yeah.
Because you're so busy and you've got to find that focus in your head, that concentration. So it's hard to start, but once you start, things sort of materialize, and then material just develops. You know, the creative
you're just like, okay, we want this sort of, you know, this complements the other songs. You want a song like that and a song like that. You know, once you've started, the process is going, and then you're not like only thinking about it, like, oh, we have to write a second album. Once it started, it was actually there.
It was a very fast process. I mean, we spent a year in the studio on and off for the first album. Second album, it was a couple of weeks of writing and then a couple of weeks in the studio, and that was it. So it was a very different process for both albums. But
can you explain why it's a different process writing the first and the second?
Well, for the first one, we really had to develop the whole sound. You know, we were just starting actually from scratch, starting a band in the studio. So we had a lot of songs like, okay, we recorded it and we thought, no, okay, it doesn't fit in the sound. So okay, we ditch it and try something new. So it is a whole process of trying, and of course after a year and a half of playing all that songs and jamming a lot live, there's way more a sound that's developed. So we could...
Yeah, well, you're conceptually a lot more precise, you know, everything has already been defined.
Yeah,
in that
like
first
this
year,
fits,
you're trying to define what you're doing, trying to find the creative core of what you're trying to achieve or make, but the second album, obviously, you've already got the foundation, so then you can build on it, and it's much quicker.
And the album is called Shamanade, if I'm pronouncing it right.
You can pronounce it the way you like.
And when did the album title pop up? Can you recall the specific moment?
That's a very funny story.
Yeah.
There was a bit of gibberish on a demo that Cato was singing in a sort of...
It was for seeing red.
Some words that you could hear and some words not, and I thought I heard Shamanade, and I really just lit up my brain like Shamanade. I like that idea. Because we're sort of a lot of songs are about, you know, a sort of spiritual journey, if you like, you know, some sort of search for some meaning or whatever, and then we like to, our live performances are, a lot of the time we try to replicate some sort of trance-like state with repetitive beats and stuff, and a lot of that is similar to shamanistic ritual. So that whole idea of Shamanade, it was a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but joke, but it was also trying to
it's sort of a guidance of shamans through your sort of...
Yeah, well, shamanistic ritual, the music is very important in getting people in a trance-like state, so it just seemed to make sense to...
And a bit of funny, like as if it's a drink, like lemonade, Shamanade, and then sort of a drink that's been used in like rituals to get you in sort of higher trancey state of mind.
What was the first song that was finished that you put on the album? Can you recall?
Oh, the second one?
Very, very hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that they...
Uprising, maybe.
Uprising, yeah, but it wasn't finished.
No.
The first finished one, it would be very hard because you keep returning and chopping and changing.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. That's what I think.
You mentioned the song Uprising. Is it more special for you than other songs on the album?
I think with Uprising, it's a lot of elements that we have in the music and in the lyrics come together in Uprising. So it's a song that really fits us and really fits me to sing, and it just works every time. Also with the audience, it really works. You really see something happening. So in a way, it's sort of our special song in the set, I'd say.
Yeah, and you get a lot of feedback from people that really pinpoint that song because it's you're trying to, you know, spark something to life, and if that works with people, then that's the song that sort of defines
it's probably like
the album,
having a hit song, whereas we're not really like we don't have like radio play and like a hit song, but it must be a bit the same.
It's the closest we can get.
Yeah.
You mentioned the feedback. Do you put the feedback that you get from, I don't know whom, but do you put it in the music as well?
Well,
not very consciously, but I mean, probably it affects the way you feel about your music, but on a more subconscious level, you know.
Well, we did, like, not that directly, but like for the first album, the songs where you get the best reactions and you know, also the message that you send out with the songs, you notice what works and what works, you know, less good on the audience. So with the second album, we were also a bit writing in our heads, like what do you want to say to the audience and what kind of lyrics you want to drop, what kind of beats you want to use to get the energy out, you know. So we learned from that process of playing live. You learn what you want to record and what you want to play live afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, how you connect with the audience.
Yeah.
What message you can share together when you're playing. So that obviously steers you into a certain course when you're writing.
Yeah.
You're now touring Shamanade. Is there another album in the near future that you're working on right now, or is it just playing and playing and playing? Or do you write on shows, or not on shows, but on tour?
We write on tour when we especially in sound checks, we just write like grooves and melodies, but
spontaneous ideas, yeah.
But yeah, we're working on new stuff already.
Yeah, in secret.
Yeah.
Secretly. So this is,
and
we're not letting too much information.
Do you need a specific state of mind to write your lyrics or your music? Do you need to go back or just go out, or when do you get the inspiration to write?
Well, a lot of times we actually write in the studio itself. So there's sort of, you know, that four walls and that chemistry between the people that are there. We need it to write, but you can write on lyrics. I sometimes see you sitting like more in a corner and...
Yeah, well sometimes you need to extract yourself from the writing together and just reflect on what it actually means you're doing, and then you come with some new idea that really works. So
yeah.
I mean, it's like that with every musician. There's countless ways of being creative, but most of the time it's writing it spontaneously whilst we're recording.
Yeah.
For us, I think.
Super. Thank you for your time.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sweet.